Welcome back to another video from the Debate Room podcast. Today, we're going to be recapping the NFC and AFC championship games. The first one was a terrible game in totality, honestly. A terrible watch, I think. And then we have, I think the Rams and Seahawks delivered their third classic of the season. All of their matches have been amazing. And the NFC championship game was the latest installation of that this season. Before we get into it, make sure you guys share the video, comment your thoughts on the NFC AFC Championship game and the outcomes. There's been a lot of narratives and conversations that came from these two games, so we're interested in. We're gonna talk about some of that. We're interested to hear what you guys think. Follow us on our social media platforms up at the top of the screen, and let's get straight into it, man. The Patriots. We'll start with the Patriots. They escaped Denver to head to the Super Bowl. Won the game 10-7. It wasn't an offensive affair at all, and it's not like the defense made like very exciting turnovers or very exciting plays. Like at least in the Texans and Patriots game, there's a lot of turnovers, so it was somewhat exciting in that aspect. But this one, for the second half at least, there was literally no offense being played. The Patriots were literally throwing the ball out of bounds and punting it just to play a field position game because they knew that the Broncos weren't going to be able to score with the backup quarterback in these conditions with no running game. So overall, I think it was a very, very hard watch, but we got through it. And what are you guys' thoughts on the Patriots winning 10-7? How did they get it done? And we can talk about the Broncos' future as well here pretty soon. Max, I'm going to start with you. How did Drake Maye in his second year in the league make it to the Super Bowl?
I think the obvious answer is his rushing ability, his improvisation, if that's the right word I should use. He was able to be mobile. I think he was pretty close to being their leading rusher. I think it was Ramondre, but at a couple point in times, I think he had 70, 80 yards in the game rushing the football. Obviously did not throw the football very well, just with the conditions and everything, I understand. But even some of the throws just passed away or whatever, held the ball for too long. Yeah, I mean, I really just, like Latif said, it's a ground game. Denver was definitely hurt by the lack of having Bo Nix. I don't like Bo Nix that much, but he can make explosive plays at times, air the football out. He can run. Jared Stidham a couple times run the football. He got out of the pocket. He just seems slow. I don't know Jared Stidham's 40 time or anything, but a couple plays maybe could have gone a little bit farther if he had a little more speed like Bo. But yeah, I mean, they got home field advantage, and the weather and the conditions ended up biting them in the ass. They missed 2 field goals. Those obviously tough. You don't go for another field goal. So a couple things obviously led to that. But they were definitely in the game the whole time. Like, I don't put it all on Jared Stidham because the conditions were tough. And I think obviously he's asked to do a lot in that situation. I don't know. It was just a battle of the trenches. And I think almost at times it felt like Denver was winning those battles. I don't really think that the run game was 100% established by Ramondre Stevenson. I thought there were a lot of play calls on third down where Vrabel wasn't even trying to go for a first. He was literally just trying to run the football to then punt it away and hope that his defense can make a stop again. So I think looking forward to the Super Bowl, obviously conditions aside, but like you're not really going to be able to do that against Seattle, right? You're not going to just give them the football because as we saw, their offense was so efficient in that game. And I get the Rams secondary isn't phenomenal. Their front seven's good, and they were running the football well. They were doing everything they could, it seemed like. So I don't think that they'll be able to just try and run the clock out against a team like Seattle. But credit to them. Again, Drake Maye getting in the second year. With that class, he obviously easily won up Jaden Daniels the year before. This whole debate of who's going to be the best quarterback, obviously Drake is leading that currently right now. But this draft just looks phenomenal. This just quarterback draft class looks awesome. I think that, again, I'm not a Bo Nix guy. I've made that very clear. But he put his team in a position to be in an AFC championship. Unfortunately, he couldn't play in the game. But this draft class looks phenomenal right now, even without whatever J.J. McCarthy and Michael Penix end up doing in their careers. So the Patriots, I think, again, they got a lot ahead of them. They need to get healthy. Having Travion Henderson back would be huge. Again, I think you're going to need a big game from your entire receiver room because that Seahawks secondary is scary. I think they have a lot of playmakers back there, and I think you're going to need your receivers to help Drake out a lot. But like we said, I think establishing the run in the Super Bowl, this is not a Super Bowl preview at all, but establishing the run will be the only way, I think, to get any sort of long drives going against a team like Seattle, because I agree, passing the football against them is just super tough. And I have yet to see Drake give me a super, super convincing passing game in this playoff run, but that doesn't mean they can't get it done.
Q, how did the Patriots pull this one out? I mean, they obviously favored, but I think the better question is, how did the Broncos keep this one close with their backup quarterback? Maybe that's a better question. How did they keep this close with their backup quarterback and Bo Nix obviously being out?
Great coaching, great roster. Outside of like the only, I guess, the holes you would say on the Denver Broncos roster would be, in some eyes, quarterback, obviously, and then weapons room. Other than that, they got great D line, got linebackers, got safety play. They got the best corner in the league. So like they have the roster to compete. They're at home. We got Vance Joseph calling the defense. They was against got Will Campbell and friends. That's not a goal line, so they're able to wreck the game for them. Also, New England's not a great rushing team as well, so they can't establish the run, even especially in conditions like that. So that wasn't able to help them. So it was really just a passing game, and passing in the snow is not really conducive for like great offense. So they just put the pressure on, heated up Drake Maye. He was able to make some plays here and there early on. Later on, it was just a ball control game, 3-and-out, just to run the clock out. But the defense did enough to keep in the game. If they had a better quarterback, if Bo Nix was playing, maybe Sean Payton makes a different call in the first quarter with the field goal tie game. Maybe the game is a little bit different. But it was really a coaching game, like a coaching and roster thing that kept it close for them. For the Patriots, not really a story for too much of this game. They should have won the game. They only won with actual starting quarterback, a top 5 quarterback, MVP candidate at quarterback. So they probably wasn't going to win this game if conditions was regular. Even if Bo Nix was played and it was like a regular day, they probably would have won regardless, in my opinion. But for the Patriots, it doesn't really matter about the game. They got here based off like what they did the past 2 years. You hired Mike Vrabel. Obviously, you started with drafting Drake Maye. He fell. Got Bears laughing at his tape in the organization and whatnot. They took Jaden Daniels, so Drake Maye folded you at 3. Made the right coaching hire. Spend some money. Obviously, you got an easy schedule, but that just helps you out. Still got to go out there and win the games. They won 14 games. Seeing proof of concept all year that they've been pretty much a steady team. They got better. Drake Maye stamped himself as a top 5 quarterback, I think, in my opinion. It was just a story of the season. That's why they got here. It doesn't really give credit to the playoff run. It wasn't like a big thing, but it just shows that like rebuilding shouldn't take 5-6 years. If you get the coach and quarterback right, you could be here in year 2, just like every other like all these other young quarterbacks.
I would say so. Coming into this game, I figured that it would be close. I think a lot of people wrote off the Broncos, and they had a chance to win the game down to the last possession. They just needed. Well, I think that obviously Jared Stidham's mistakes in this game really cost them, but I figured this game would be close because their defense is really good, obviously, and the Patriots' offensive line has not played well in this game or up until this point. So I feel like it was going to be a low-scoring game. I feel like I trusted Sean Payton to call a good game, which I think he did until he couldn't anymore. And I didn't think anything of Jared Stidham at all, but just with their defense being able to limit the Patriots' offense, which they did, and Sean Payton being the mastermind he is on offense, I think that they had a chance to win the game. And I think they, especially in the first half, his play calling was really good. His first 15 plays were really good. They were moving the ball on the Patriots. They had 2 drives in that first half where they could have got 7. He chose to go for it on 4th and 1 instead of kicking the field goal. I think that was a very detrimental call in this game. I mean, especially since there were only 17 points scored throughout the total of the game. I think that Jared Stidham's mistake where he just basically handed the Patriots 7 was obviously very costly. And I think overall, when Jared Stidham, in the first half at least, when he had time to actually like go through his progressions and or just get something out quick, he played pretty well. When he was under pressure from the Patriots front, that's when everything pretty much went to shit. He turned the ball over, he got sacked, and they couldn't protect him in his game for the most part of it, and that's why I think he played so poorly. But I think that if there wasn't so much snow in this game, the Broncos had a better chance to win the game. They could not move the ball whatsoever in the second half. Once they couldn't throw it, it was pretty much wraps. Their running game it hasn't been good all year, especially without J.K. Dobbins. R.J. Harvey, fine player, but J.K. Dobbins was playing really well to begin the season. So when the element of the pass was taken away from them, when Sean Payton couldn't put his imprints on the game, I think that the game was pretty much over from there. And then Mike Vrabel had some really good game management decisions where it's just throw the ball out of bounds, punt it, make the offense score. It was a sequence to end the game where he subbed a defensive lineman in, which took time off the clock for the Broncos, and they had to rush their play call, and that was on interception. So Mike Vrabel did a great job coaching. As far as the Patriots, I think that they obviously couldn't get the passing game going. It's very hard to pass on the Broncos. They have one of the best pass defenses in the league. The Patriots offense line got demolished throughout the whole game. I think they had like 4 or 5 sacks in the first half. So the Broncos defense really limited them. But at times in this game, Drake needed to make plays with his legs, and he did. People were throwing around he only had 98 yards passing, whatever, which I understand that, but he also was very, very good in his legs in the second half. He made the requisite plays to win his game. He did on offense. And I think that's been the story of Drake Maye's playoff tenure to this point. I'm seeing a lot of slander of Drake Maye for his performances in the playoffs so far, but people are saying, "Oh, it's a fraudulent run. It's the easiest Super Bowl run ever." And I mean, he hasn't played well, but that's because he's played 3 top 10 defenses, and he's played 3 top 10 defenses with the O-line that's been getting wrecked every single game. He's playing 3 top 10 defenses without all-world weapons, like in the second year in the league at 23 years old. Of course, he's going to struggle. Like players coming in at his age with his experience don't make it to the Super Bowl really ever. And no shit, he struggled. It's his first playoff run ever against 3 top 10 defenses. People are just discounting that. The reason the Patriots are in the Super Bowl is because of the defense, obviously. But in every game of this run, Drake Maye has made plays when it mattered to help them secure the win. Obviously, we're giving a lot of the credit to defense, but I think that this run is pretty similar, and it's pretty similar to the Bengals in 2021 when Joe Burrow did it, when the defense pretty much carried, and he made plays when it mattered. But the thing about this Patriots team, they don't have Jamar Chase and T. Higgins to throw the ball to. So, I mean, I think that Diggs has been pretty reliable all year. I think Boutte has stepped up in big times, especially in that Texans game. But Drake Maye has had drives where he's put his team on their back. In the Texans game, he did that. In the Chargers game, he did that. And in this game, he also did that as well. So I don't think the slander is really warranted at all, given the context. Like, of course, he hasn't played well, but there's the reason why he hasn't played well. He's played 3 top 10 defenses. I'll keep reiterating that. So I think those narratives are dumb. The Trent Dilfer comparisons, stupid. Trent Dilfer was 28, pushing 30 when he went to Super Bowl, and Drake Maye's in the second year, 23 years old. So
chill my boy Trent, man. Let's relax.
So I don't really get that, but the internet gonna do what the internet does, man, and I understand that. No one's gonna place Drake Maye in all these super conversations. He shouldn't be. Well, people will do that, honestly, but I won't be doing it. Putting him in conversations he doesn't belong in, but we also can't just ignore that he had an MVP level season
that he doesn't belong in. Like, what's the threshold of the conversations he doesn't belong in?
Top 3, I would say. But, hey, second year, Josh ain't did it yet. Lamar ain't did it yet.
Are you considering Joe Burrow discussions with Drake Maye?
No, I think Joe Burrow's better.
Okay.
I think that yes, Drake. A lot of the metrics love him this year in terms of completion percentage over suspected, EPA per play, per drop back. He was very accurate even down the field, but he still has these CTE level plays where he just makes dumb decisions in costly moments. He has a fumbling issue. We know this.
Yeah.
And I think that
the small hands thing, I think, along with trying to stay strong in the pocket.
I think Joe Burrow I trust him a lot more as a passer. I still trust like Josh Allen more as a passer. Like I trust Josh Allen. Let me not even say Joe Burrow, but I trust Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes to like go in these games and like shred defenses. Like they're able to take over games at the highest level more than Drake Maye is. You saw Josh Allen against his same defense, and I understand the Bills have a better supporting cast than the Patriots, but you saw him be able to. I mean, he had 4 turnovers, but he still had
O-line,
yeah, O-line, yeah. And that's like the most important thing against his.
Yeah. That's how I at first, I went towards like just thinking wide receiver and stuff. I'm like, I thought I'm like, that's the top 5 O-line in the league.
Josh Allen had 4 turnovers, but he definitely played better than Drake Maye. Clearly,
that's the thing. Like he had the 4 turnovers, and he still accounted for like almost 400 yards of offense, and he still put up 3 touchdowns. Like he was still able to go up and down the field on them. If he this story of the playoffs, if the quarterback doesn't light the game on fire, the team wins. You know what I'm saying? Even Trevor Lawrence, he lit the game on fire at the end just by throwing the game sealing pick. Like it was a lot of like defenses played the most part in a lot of these teams' success more than like the offense of the quarterback. If you ask
even with someone like Matthew Stafford, who I think Drake Maye is better in this year in a high level situation like this, he's far more experienced quarterback. I trust him to make like high level throws and tighter windows. And we'll talk about it later. Well, we'll talk about it pretty soon. He made some really high level throws in Seahawks defense, and we're gonna see what he can do. But I think they're definitely in drastically different situations as well too. So we'll see. For me, as a Drake Maye fan, this whole time, it's been house money. This has been house money throughout, man. This is his first playoff run. I'm very, grateful that he made the Super Bowl. I'm not tripping on these playoff struggles. Like these are very common for quarterbacks, first of all, and they're very common for young quarterbacks. Peyton had struggles when he first started. Tom Brady was not impressive really at all in his first playoff run ever. So I don't really get to like all the conversation, but that's neither here or there. Unless you guys have any other thoughts on this game, we can move on. All right. The Seahawks and Rams gave us a much more exciting game. Everything they put on the field this year was fire. The NFC West outside of the Cardinals was pretty fire to watch this year. And this one was another high-level game, probably the best game in the playoffs to this point. Both offenses were clicking. Both defenses made very exciting key plays. It was a coaching clash with Mike McDonald being a defensive mastermind and Sean McVay being obviously the offensive mastermind. And then we also got Kubiak versus Shula. It was a very, very good game. How did the Seahawks get it done? Let's advance to the Super Bowl for the first time since 2016? 2014? Pardon me. But
you would think this was like the Seahawks was a defensive game and they locked down and did their thing. No. It was Sam Darnold pretty much going throw for throw and Matt Stafford the whole game. I know that sounds crazy to say, but that's exactly what happened because Matthew Stafford, like he did the last time they played and somewhat a little bit the first time they played, was basically shredding this Seahawks defense. Like obviously it was some errant throws here and there, but for the most part, Matthew Stafford was pretty much beating up on his vaunted Seahawks defense. So Sam Darnold had to go out there and match throw for throw. And every time Matthew Stafford and the Rams scored, they scored. So it was pretty much a back and forth affair. And then costly special team turnover mistake, like they pretty much had all year. That obviously was the Achilles heel for the Rams. They made a mistake. Seahawks capitalized and go up ahead. Obviously, Matt Stafford and the Rams had a chance to come down and take the lead. Then they failed on 4th down and whatnot. And even after that, they still had another chance. It was like a minute left, but they wasted a lot of time. But it was offensive, like it was basically a shootout. And if you would have said before the game, even before the season, who would win a shootout between Matthew Stafford and Sam Darnold, everybody's answer would have been Matthew Stafford. But I'm not going to say Sam Darnold won, but his team won. He made the plays that needed to be made. It was great season. Did his thing. He kind of gets validated. The contract basically his last 2 seasons. Obviously, I guess he takes off the playoff dropper or whatever big game, dropper merchant tag off for a while because he game for his life to go to the biggest game of the year. He backpacked. So yeah, shout out to Sam Darnold.
To piggyback off what Q just said, I think I've had my skepticism on Sam Darnold. Obviously, we saw last year in Week 18 versus the Lions, buns in the playoff, buns. And then even Week 18 this year, not impressive. A 13-3 win. I get it. They won the game to win the division. Awesome. That's huge. But which is not impressive, Sam Darnold. And the last 2 weeks, Sam Darnold has played stellar. Best time to be playing great football. And again, I give a lot of credit to Sam because his throws are on point, on time. He's moving in the pocket. He's aware. But Clint Kubiak is also scheming up a masterclass. I don't think that this team is that bad on defense. I do not think the Rams are that bad. Again, their secondary is not amazing, but their front seven's good. I think this Rams defense is not bad in the slightest. And the first couple drives, it just seemed like Sam was getting anything and everything he wanted. So JSN obviously helps out with that a lot. JSN did his thing. The run game got established very, very well with K9 scoring early. I think that this team looked very complete last night, and I think they're probably playing their best football these last 2 weeks. And again, for a 1 seed, a lot of times it's like, okay, great, you get a bye week, but are you going to come out slow? Are you going to come out sluggish? They've been firing for 8 straight quarters now. So I think offensively and defensively, the team's just fun to watch. I picked them to make the playoffs at the start of the year, and I didn't believe it myself. I did not believe it when I said it. And I think that even throughout the year, I had my skepticism for sure. I was skeptical of this team 100%. But in the last 5 weeks, I think this team has just been so entertaining to watch. Sam Darnold's just been making good throws. JSN, K9, Charbonnet being out, it's unfortunate, but a lot of guys, Jake Bobo, Rashid Shaheed, it just seems like every time one of their guys gets the ball, they're a threat to score. So I think I think on both sides, the Patriots, this is the best offense they'll play, maybe the entire year, but during the playoffs in Seattle. And then I think the best defense that Seattle will have faced in this playoff run will be the Patriots. So again, I think they're both getting a good competition, I guess, on those 2 sides of the ball. I don't think anyone's a better offense than that. And defensively, I mean, the Rams were beat up. The San Fran was beat up. The Rams are not as good as Patriots. So I think that both teams will kind of get tested a little bit more. But all credit to Sam Darnold. I do think that, again, even if he loses the Super Bowl and bums out his first playoff game next year, these 2 games are going to stick in my head as far as Sam Darnold has it in him somewhere to kind of pull these games out of his ass. So, but again, to coaching, to credit, I'm not saying the defense was ass by any stretch of the imagination. I thought the front seven played pretty well. The Tariq Woolen thing, that was just a terrible lap of judgment. Can't be doing that. Literally, that was almost as bad as the punt block or as the muff punt that gave him a free touchdown. So that's got to be tightened up. But I think this team is very threatening, obviously, in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I feel like these were the 2 best teams in football coming to this game. I felt like this was the Super Bowl. I feel like whoever won this game was probably going to win the Super Bowl. I favored the Seahawks. I think they're the most complete team in the NFL. Really good secondary, really good defensive line, really good head coach. They have a solid running game, and Kenneth Walker has been amazing recently. Sam Darnold has been a really good quarterback this year, and they have 2 really good wide receivers. The Rashid Shaheed addition at the deadline, super impactful as a return man and as a receiver. So this team is pretty much loaded. One of the best rosters in the sport, with being coached by one of the best coaches, I believe, in the sport. He had to put some more notches on his belt to really earn that title. But what really stood out to me in this game, I think that Clint Kubiak put on a masterclass, man. His play designs were amazing throughout this whole game. People were just flying wide open. The Rams didn't have an answer for them pretty much in this game. 2 big plays in this game was obviously the muff punt, and then people were really focusing on that muff punt, but the Rams did get a generous taunting penalty. This is the NFC Championship game. You're calling a taunting penalty when emotions are at its highest. I feel like taunting is pretty tricky because I understand the risk of if that can go somewhere, they can go towards a fight or something like that. That's why they implemented it. But it's bro, this is an NFC Championship game. Him taunting had no if anything, it should be assessed on the next drive or something like that, because him taunting had literally no impact on that play at all. It was after the play. If he's taunting after the play, they should be getting the penalty after.
The reason why is like, if that would have happened on 4th down, it probably would have never mattered. It happened on 3rd, so technically it's still like he would have closed out a drive. But through taunting, now we can still act as if like you're doing something detrimental for the next play. And like he kind of took it a little bit too long, but there should be some. I understand where you come from. Like there should be some gray area for situations, especially like big moments, especially when come playoff time. Like this is what like everybody's worked for. Like they played all season for this. So if emotions get heightened, I think like you should let it go. Obviously, like watch the manager so it doesn't go too far. But obviously everybody's gonna have that same type of opinion, especially like when the high leverage moment, especially after you've done shut down back-to-back drives. Like because the drive before, Emin Wari shut down the drive by himself, and then Tariq Woolen came back and shut down the next drive by himself. Basically, it's like, so obviously they're gonna feel some type of way. They just shut down the potential MVP back-to-back. Like they ain't these young, they 25 and under. Of course they up and they feeling it.
Yeah, I didn't agree with that at all. I think that rule needs to be changed. If taunting is an after the play foul, so it should be assessed to the opposing team's next drive. Like that's not how that should work to me, in my opinion. But also I thought another key moment in this game was Matthew Stafford. Not Matthew Stafford. Sean McVay deciding not to take his 3 points on that 4th and 4. I think that was incredibly risky. And I think they paid for it because they obviously would just need 3 points at the end of the game instead of needing a touchdown. And obviously they don't pick it up. The Seahawks situational defense, they obviously didn't have a great defensive game, but in situations they played really good defense. They stopped them on 4th down a multitude of times, actually. So I think that Mike McDonald and Clint Kubiak just won the coaching war in this game. Like obviously the players are great. JSN, really good performance from him, and really good performance from Puka and Devontae. But at the end of the day, it came down to coaching, and I think Mike McDonald and Clint Kubiak won this game, and they won it throughout the season as well. Got to talk about Sam Darnold. I think he is one of the best stories in the NFL right now. Being discarded by the Jets, being discarded by the Panthers, and finally getting it together on the 49ers and on the Vikings, where he was with organizations that had some semblance of stability and coaching, and just weren't two of the worst franchises in the sport. When he actually got in better environments, he learned how to play the game of football and be effective in the NFL level. And much has been made about his ability to perform in high-level situations like this. And he's finally conquered those demons this playoff. So I think that he's one of the best stories in the NFL this season. So that's pretty much all I got to say about him.
It's corny, and it's like, I feel like you always do this. But, like, is there any kind of, like, similarity you could see to any other quarterback, I guess, in that same situation where they've been, I guess, more cast out because they played for a bad organization or had a couple bad years, but you think still have something left in the tank? Something like, not to this level, but like Malik Willis is obvious. Like Malik Willis is an obvious one right now.
I don't know if it's going to be Malik Willis, but we've seen the model basically the last basically half decade. As long as you get to the organization, that's
like Baker.
You know what I'm saying? Like he went to like the Tampa Bay, like they're a stable organization. Like they've done more winning than most, if in the grand scheme of things. Seattle, John Snyder is like one of the best GMs in football. Nobody talks about it. Everybody talks about Howie Roseman and like Brett Veach and whatnot, but John Snyder is one of the best. Look what he got the power struggle. Like he won the power struggle over him and Pete Carroll. And since they let go of Pete Carroll, they pretty much been like one of the 10 best organizations in football.
Same thing happened. Same thing probably gonna happen with the Ravens, to be honest.
What you mean?
Like they let go John Harbaugh, and they're gonna be. I think they're gonna.
Well, yeah, good because you getting younger and more innovative. Mike McDonald, that's what they did. It takes guts because everybody's on the offensive genius wave, but like you don't like I said, you don't need to be. You could be a genius on the other side. You in a division.
You need a good quarterback. You need to establish a good quarterback to do that, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, and they got the quarterback, and they got somebody that could go toe to toe on the other side of Sean McVay and Kyle Shanahan calling plays, and that's what
the Bills should be doing the same thing. They're probably not though, because low key like
they're waiting for they said they're, or there's reports they're waiting for Clint Kubiak to be able to talk to him.
You don't need an offensive mind when you got Josh Allen. I'm not gonna lie.
No, I personally don't care. I said if you get them, like if they interview Chris Shula, if they hired Chris Shula, would have been cool. It's still a young defensive guy who obviously has good schemes and worked with lesser talent. Like it could work. You just gotta have this, pair up with the smart organization, good stability, and then things take off from there. If you get the quarterback right, you don't need a top 5 goal. You got Sam Darnold, who at moments played like or looked like he may have been top 5. Last night he played like a top 5 quarterback. He did that without the defense playing like all world. That was just enough. Yeah, I don't know if Malik Willis would be the next one.
I just think he'll get a starting opportunity, probably with Miami or something, but like not a great organization there. I guess that's more my fear with it, is I don't think he'll go to a good organization who's polished and who will be able to develop him.
All the guys that have made those comebacks have went to a good organization. Like all of them.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm saying like I'm kind of being
the last good organization or stable organization left would be the Vikings. But everybody knows that's the like quarterback go-to spot. So like that's cool. If you want to go stable, the Colts have been stable. Obviously, they've had some bumps, but they've never been a bad team.
But I don't know if you're swinging on Malik Willis over Daniel Jones, right?
Exactly. And then Atlanta's not a great organization historically. They just happen to have the bones of a great team, and then they have a offensive coach. So like maybe that's the spot too. But their organization is not great, if you ask me.
The teams I'm looking at are just again the Jets, the Dolphins, the Cardinals, and that's not like I'm not thinking,
Steelers.
I mean,
but they also don't have.
If they have McCarthy, I think Rodgers is coming back.
Mike McCarthy.
Rodgers is back.
It can't be a quarterback. I'd see them if they make like a trade for like Dak Prescott or something.
I think they draft. I think they'll draft a quarterback, but I think that this is a Rodgers. This smells like Aaron Rodgers.
Rodgers going to the Vikings. They're not running back with JJ McCarthy.
I don't think the Steelers hire Mike McCarthy without being like, I think Rodgers is staying.
Yeah.
No, I don't think so. I think he's retiring. But anyways,
Matthew Stafford, a Hall of Famer.
Yeah. How many starting quarterbacks with a Super Bowl ring are not Hall of Famers? A few. Foles, Dilfer.
Last thing I want to say about that is like philosophically, I like the OCs with the young quarterbacks, and then the DCs with the veteran quarterback that because it's a lot more risk. If you don't want a defensive coach developing a young quarterback. You want an OC developing a young quarterback. That's pretty much like an offensive-minded head coach. That's pretty much my philosophy with that. And I think that reflects the current aspect of the league, and that's why I see this Stroud is struggling so much because he's had two play callers in 3 years. And D'Amico's obviously great, but he can't help him offensively. So, that's pretty much it. Next time we talk about NFL, it might be NFL draft stuff. Probably NFL draft stuff because we haven't got to that, which we need to. And then we'll do Super Bowl predictions as well in a week or so. So thank you guys for tuning in for the recap. That's going to do it. And we are out.